Inflation has led to a new trend called overemployment, where employees secretly work 2 full-time jobs at once. What could go wrong? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. If you've been watching this channel lately, you know that inflation is out of control. Actually, you've probably noticed if you've just been existing lately, everything is more expensive. I'm old enough to remember when Subway offered $5 footlongs. Inflation causing them to discontinue their $5 footlongs is the saddest story about Subway in the past decade. Well, second saddest. Inflation is hurting most Americans. According to LendingTree, 32% of Americans were late in paying bills in the last 6 months. Employers in several parts of the U.S. have been forced to raise minimum wage rates, but inflation is still outpacing earnings, making people burn through their paychecks much quicker. To compensate for this, there's a growing trend called overemployment. Overemployment is when employees secretly work 2 full-time jobs simultaneously, remotely. Not like working a double shift, but working both jobs 9 to 5, without telling their bosses what they're doing. While some say this may be unethical, the overemployed say it's fair because they're tired of employers exploiting and undercompensating them. Yeah, it's the new workers' revolution. Instead of going on strike, workers will rise up and work even more, but secretly. That'll show the capitalist pigs. This overemployment movement has grown exponentially as the economy has gotten worse over the past year. On Reddit, the overemployed subreddit had 6,000 members in January 2022, and now in October, it has nearly 100,000 members. There's a whole community for it on the website overemployed.com. Overemployed.com's founder, who simply goes by Isaac, said, "My stress has actually gone down. Mental health is up, way up. I'm not stressed by layoffs or the thought that I can't make my next mortgage payment. They're less stressed working 2 full-time jobs." I know what you're thinking. These millennials are so lazy. Only working 2 full-time jobs? Maybe they'd have time to work 3 or 4 if they'd lay off the avocado toast and quit going to so many brunches, am I right? There are pros and cons to being overemployed. The extra income obviously gives you more financial freedom and the possibility to retire early, or, retire at all. Overemployed people also enjoy the benefits of having 2 health care plans, which means they can actually afford health care. Okay, I'm starting to see why people do this. However, overemployed workers are being dishonest with their bosses if they're hired as 2 full-time employees for 2 jobs. The companies hired them for a fixed salary and expect a certain level of productivity. It's not necessarily illegal to work 2 jobs at once, but if you get caught, your employer can fire you. But a lot of people are getting away with it, as long as they maintain good job performance, which is not so easy. I'll explain after the break. Welcome back. Inflation used to mean higher wages for some and double shifts for others. But now there's another option that's getting more and more popular: overemployment. Secretly working 2 full-time jobs at the same time. It's a lot easier now since the pandemic made it more acceptable for people to work remotely from home. Which sounds great until you consider this nightmare scenario: being on 2 different work Zoom meetings at the same time. Or even worse, 2 different work Zoom happy hours at the same time. You couldn't pay me enough for that. Of course, working 2 full-time jobs at the same time isn't anything new. I saw people doing it all the way back in the early 90s. For example, The Undertaker worked as a wrestler and an undertaker. Surprised his boss didn't catch on. But would juggling 2 9-to-5 careers at the same time hurt work performance at each of those jobs? According to a survey conducted by ResumeBuilder.com last year, 7 in 10 remote workers have multiple jobs. Now, not all of them count as being overemployed. Some of them work the second job only part-time, or they work extra hours. But about 17% of remote workers surveyed work 2 jobs simultaneously. clocking 40 hours or less for both jobs combined. These are the overemployed people. Of those surveyed, 92% say this lifestyle has led to them being equally or more productive, which I can believe. After all, I have 2 full-time jobs, hosting America Uncovered and China Uncensored, and I'm obviously crushing it. But not everyone is as great at it as I am. Of course, I'm my own boss, which does make it different. If my productivity goes down, I'll have to fire myself. Anyway, the people who responded to that survey about having multiple jobs are a self-selected group of people who can handle it. Not everyone can. And there's also a trick some overemployed people are using to maintain work-life balance. They're getting a second, more entry-level job, one that they're overqualified for and can do more easily. By accepting junior-level positions and efficiently arranging their hours, workers can keep their personal and professional obligations in balance, which is great for them, but could end up messing up the job market even more. If overqualified people are squatting in these junior-level positions, where will these junior-level people get jobs? Subway? Being overemployed is not the only way the pandemic has messed up the labor market. In fact, we're also seeing an opposite trend among workers: quiet quitting. Quiet quitting is essentially when you remain employed but don't go above and beyond what is expected of you, just doing the bare minimum to get by. Quiet quitting exploded in popularity when a TikTok user explained the philosophy behind it in this video that went viral on the platform in late July.
I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
If you'd like to learn more about quiet quitting, check out this video I did on my new channel, Gamers Unbeaten. It's about how the Yakuza series exemplifies quiet quitting. I've been busy. Now, quiet quitting is nothing new. People have done the bare minimum to get by at jobs they don't like for as long as jobs have existed. It's not hard to tell when workers don't care about their job performance. Just look at this sad excuse for a Subway sandwich. I could put up with this back when it was only $5, but not anymore. However, with the flashy new buzzword attached to this mindset, the quiet quitting philosophy is spreading. Some feel quiet quitting is the next phase of the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation refers to the unprecedented amount of workers that quit their jobs during the pandemic. This caused a massive labor shortage that we're still seeing the effects of today. Whoever sells help wanted signs has got to be nearly as rich as Jeff Bezos by now. But a lot of those are manufacturing and retail jobs, not really the kind of work you can do remotely. Thanks to quiet quitting and the Great Resignation, worker productivity is down 4.1% from a year ago. This is the largest drop since the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics started keeping track of this in 1948. And then there's a crossover. Maybe overemployment is only possible because people are quiet quitting 2 jobs at once, doing just enough to get by at one, so they have the time to do just enough to get by at the other. And sure, while there may be some people who can do well at both of their jobs, many aren't able to, or don't bother. For every overemployed wrestler like The Undertaker who went above and beyond and won the WWF Championship, there were a dozen overemployed wrestlers like LT Hopper. Who? Exactly. So what do you think? Would you ever be overemployed? Or are you quiet quitting instead? Or both? Leave your comments below. And be sure to support America Uncovered by going to patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.